Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is George and I am a mummy to 3 boys. I have an almost 7-year-old, a 4-year-old and a baby boy who is 14 months old. So yes, all boys, it's full on. I do lots of videos about our life. I do lots of day in the lives, lots of vlogs and also sit down videos like this. This is going to be a Q&A. I posted on my Instagram a few days ago asking if you had any questions that you wanted answered, and thank you so much to all of you who asked me lots of questions, really varied ones as well, which are really great. And also some of your questions gave me really good ideas for videos to do on here. So some of the questions I might touch on, but like I say, probably you'll get a much longer answer because they will be specific videos that I will chat about because they take longer than a few minutes to answer. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do go and subscribe to my channel so that you can be updated when I upload lots more videos, and I'm going to get into it. So I've just got my phone here and I'm going to just have a look through. I have had a brief look through at the ones that have come in, but I haven't really thought about how to answer them, so I am quite on the spot, and like I say, I'll let you know if some of them are going to be longer videos or not. So I'm going to go straight into it with how is Grayson doing with his day naps and night sleep. So if you've followed me for a while on Instagram, you'll know that sleep has not been had much of. So Grayson, like I said, is 14 months old and he is exclusively breastfed, and he for the first 10 months of his life was literally feeding every half an hour. Through the night he would feed, he would fall asleep, do like a 40-minute sleep cycle, wake up, need to be fed again, back to sleep, same like that. And like I say, I kind of let it go on for as long as it did, and then at 10 months I was really struggling with the sleep deprivation, and I felt like he also was kind of struggling not having long stretches of sleep. So I instigated this kind of gentle sleep training. It was just something that I kind of put together myself from having a read around, and I did this gentle sleep training and it really helped, and it helped him sleep through the night. We then recently took a few steps back because he got ill, as is always the case, and then there was some teething. So at the moment, currently as we speak, he is going down to sleep at bedtime. I lay him down awake and he sleeps through until about 4 AM, and at 4 AM I tend to do a quick breastfeed just to get him through to about 6:30, and then that's when he's up for the day. So yeah, I'd say about 1 or 2 wakes in the night at the moment. And then in terms of his naps, he has gone down to 1 nap now, and he went down to 1 nap a few months ago now, probably quite early on. It just was the way it fit in with the school run, because I've got the 2 older boys. I found it really hard to kind of get his naps right, to be honest with you. I don't have the privilege like when you have one child to kind of, for him to nap when he wants and for how long he wants, because I'm always out and about getting the other boys. So at the moment what works best, he has an early-ish lunch, like at around 11, and then I put him down for a nap anytime sort of around 11:30, 11:45, 12 o'clock-ish, that sort of time. And then he can have a 1.5, 2 hour nap. And that is how he sleeps at the moment. But like I say, it's ever changeable, so I'm just waiting for the next phase. My 5-month-old will only nap if I lay next to him. How do I change this? Having a quick look here, I can see there's actually lots of questions about the sleep, and I think people are interested in kind of the gentle sleep training that I did. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do a specific video on the gentle sleep training that I did that really massively changed. Because like I say, I went from being totally sleep deprived up every 40 minutes to him sleeping through the night. So I really feel like this would be beneficial for so many of you, because I've got so many questions like that. So hang on in there, I will upload a little short video of me just talking through the steps that I did. You can also check out my Instagram, because I did do a couple of static posts on there about the gentle sleep training that I did. Okay, so someone has asked, I would love to ask your reasons for being a vegan family. And that's really interesting as well. Lots of interest about our vegan diet. So again, probably I'll do a video about how we went vegan and about our lifestyle being vegan. But initially it was just me. So a few years ago, just kind of, I was always into healthy eating, definitely kind of always wanted to eat as healthily as I could. And a few years ago I did a lot of research and came to the conclusion that a plant-based diet was definitely the healthiest way of eating. And I really enjoyed vegetables and salads and lentils and things like that anyway, so it wasn't kind of a big change for me to make. So I made the change first, and I pretty much changed kind of overnight. Like, it wasn't really a slow process. I didn't go vegetarian first. I just went from a normal meat and dairy diet to vegan. Really enjoyed it. I found all the benefits, lots more energy. Yeah, I felt amazing on it. And at that point, I just had Zach, and he was a baby. And then after a while of being vegan, it just felt wrong for me to be giving myself what I believed was the healthiest foods, but then be feeding Zach, my child, something different or something that I didn't think was quite as healthy, if you know what I mean. So at that point was when I transitioned Zach to vegan, and that was when he was just over 2, and that was when Eduardo was a baby. So Eduardo was a baby from birth. Of course he was a baby from birth. Eduardo was vegan from birth. He's my middle boy. And Zach, I transitioned when he was just over 2. And because he was quite young, it was quite easy to do. I can imagine it can be a bit more difficult when your children are older, perhaps. But I just kind of substituted things. There's so, you know, meat alternatives. So where he was having pork sausages, I just changed it to the meat-free soya sausages. And he transitioned really well. At this time, my husband was not vegan. He was a man, and he liked his meat and his dairy and everything. And at first I kind of did have a chat with him about it, and then I soon realized that, you know, it's really up to everyone. Everyone's an individual. You know, he wasn't vegan when I met him. I wasn't vegan when I met him. So, you know, this was a whole new thing for him. So he carried on as he was, but we did come to the conclusion that we would all be vegan at home. So he would eat the vegan stuff at home, and then when he was at work and things away from the kids, he might, you know, have something different or have meat or dairy. But just to make it easier at home, we would only have like vegan products in the house. And obviously all the meals I cooked he really enjoyed, so that worked fine. But it's funny, as soon as you leave someone alone and you don't pester them, they often come around to something of their own accord. And he watched quite a few of the documentaries, and he definitely came at it again from a health point of view more, and he is now vegan as well. So we are a vegan family, and it is just so much easier. The last couple of years, it's become a lot easier. At first it was difficult, and he used to say, oh, but it's difficult to eat out and things like that. But it's just steamrolled now, and now it's so easy to eat out. It's so easy to cook meals and everything. So we are now a vegan family. But like I say, I will definitely do a big video on it, because there are lots of questions. Like, even just looking here, I just saw there's questions about the kids, and when they're out and about, how do you kind of deal with them needing vegan food and all those sort of things. So I think it might be helpful to kind of answer all those within one video, because I do know that there are definitely, I get lots of DMs on my Instagram, mums who themselves have gone vegan, but again, it's just hard. You want to sort of raise your children, but there are lots of questions and lots of perhaps anxieties around it because it's not the norm yet. So I will definitely do a video on that. But that was a really great question about why we are a vegan family. Another question about food. Does Grayson eat 3 meals a day? Yes, he does eat 3 meals a day. So when he first weaned at 6 months, I started with like 1 meal, and fairly rapidly he went up to 2 and then to 3 meals. And I think that happened quickly and more succinctly because he has the 2 older brothers. So because they're eating very set meals, he kind of fell into place quite quickly. So he eats breakfast with his brothers before the school run. Then he has a lunch, like I say, a kind of early-ish lunch around 11. And then he has dinner with his brothers. Again, that's quite an early one because the boys are always really hungry. So that can be as early as like 4:30. And he has quite an early bedtime, Grayson. He goes to bed at about 6, he's done. So those kind of spacings work quite well. I've got another question. Have you left Grayson overnight before? If yes, how was he? No, I haven't left him overnight yet because I have been breastfeeding. So we went for an evening out for the first time about 4 weeks ago, and that was the first time we were able to do that because of the gentle sleep training, meaning that he wasn't, when he goes down to bed now, he doesn't wake like through that evening time, like all the hours before midnight. So whereas before he had been waking all through the evening, so I just couldn't go out anywhere because I knew I would be needed to get him back to sleep. But recently we went out one evening to the cinema and came home at like 11. But that was really good. But I could never really go overnight. Well, I wouldn't want to at the moment. yet. I still feel like he's really young. I've never really left any of the boys massively overnight. I think the big boys have gone for a sleepover, like at my mum's and stuff, but I've never like gone on a holiday or anything like that. But with Grayson, yeah, I couldn't leave him overnight yet, because he still wakes in those early hours and can be hard to settle without the boob. So yeah, no, not yet. And also, I don't know who I would inflict all 3 of my children on overnight. So no, I can't see that happening anytime soon. Someone says, I love watching your food hauls. I'm really glad. Sometimes when I do them, I'm like, no one wants to see your mushrooms. But I have had lots of messages just saying they're really useful, giving you like ideas for dairy-free meals or, you know, plant-based meals and stuff. And I love doing them. My husband thinks I'm absolutely nuts when I get all the shopping out of the bags, and rather than putting it away, I lay it out and start filming it. But I love doing food hauls. There is actually a food haul already on my channel, so I will leave a link to it below, and you can go and watch it. And I'm going to try and do those every single week now, especially with my new budgeting. So this year I really want to continue putting in place my meal planning, so planning all the meals for the week and then buying everything I need, because last year was a disaster with budgeting and groceries. I think because Grayson was little, I just didn't have the time, but that is my New Year's resolution. So I will be documenting that on this channel for sure. Every week I will be doing my weekly food haul and showing you what dinners I have. So if you want to follow along, definitely do subscribe, and you can follow along with what we're eating. Someone says, can you recommend any box sets to watch? This is probably because I'm always asking you guys what box sets to watch. I found, me and my husband went through a time, like maybe like a year ago or 6 months ago, where we were just both constantly on our phones in the evening. You'd look up and the other one would be on their phone, and it's not good, is it? It's not good for anyone, it's not good for your relationship. So we definitely started to get into box sets, and we found that by doing that, we both put our phones down. And even though like you could say, oh, but you're still watching a screen, it's actually a really good thing to do together, because you're both watching that thing. You then talk about it afterwards, you know, the ins and outs of what's going on, if it's a really good thing, and you just feel together because you're experiencing something together rather than looking at separate screens. And it's a lovely way to kind of chill out. We get through them quite slowly, because we only manage to usually do like 1 episode of something every night, because by the time the boys are in bed, we've got downstairs, we've had our dinner, we put one on, and then we know that we've got to get to bed early because we're going to be up at the crack of dawn. So but yeah, we've been really enjoying box sets, and we've got through quite a few good ones. So what are ones I can recommend? Because at the moment we were like, we didn't know what to watch because we'd finished a good one, but my friend has just given me a list, so I've got a list now of ones I can get through. But ones that we have watched, so we just recently finished You. So if you haven't watched the first season of You, definitely watch that and then watch the second season. The second season came out on Boxing Day, and we got through that. We were crazy. We watched like 3 of an evening because we loved it so much, and we went to bed late, like midnight. But that was really good. I love psychological thrillers like that. They are my absolute faves. We have watched, what else have we watched recently? Capture was really good. This Is Us, was that what it was called? Something like that, that was good. Yes, but I would definitely say if you haven't watched You, definitely go and watch that. That was fantastic. Someone says, how do you do it all so well? House, kids, etc. I don't. I mean, well, for me, I am quite controlling, and I do feel at my best if everything is in its place and I'm organized. If I'm not, I just feel anxious. So in order to kind of counteract that, I just find I have to be on it, but I'm not on it all the time. And sometimes, like, I might share a picture of a nice tidy room, but I tell you, I've got messy corners. Like, we've got a 3rd floor in our house, and it's one of those areas that, you know, no one can see because it's like up some stairs and it's the 3rd floor, there's nothing up there. So let me tell you, I've never taken my camera up there. So yeah, I think I just make sure I make a to-do list every day. I think that's really important, because then you're giving yourself something to aim for. You can tick it off, you can feel like you've achieved something. If you've got everything whirring about in your head, you know, I've got to do laundry, I've got to do this, I've got this chore to do, that chore to do. You don't get it down on paper or even get down an achievable list, I think you just feel overwhelmed and you don't do any of it. So definitely make a to-do list every morning. Like when you wake up in the morning, on your phone, in your notes, make a quick to-do list of important things and maybe prioritize them, things that need to be done today, things if you've got time you can get done, but they're not not so important, and then tick them off. It just makes you feel good, you know, like you've accomplished something. Also try and get things done like first thing. I find if I let things slide as the day goes, I get to the end of the day a bit like, I'll do a wash first thing, like I'm so productive, like 6 a.m. I've got the wash on, and then if I don't hang that wash up pretty much when it's done, literally I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock and I walk past the bucket of like wet, slightly dry but scrunched up clothes. I'm like, oh. So definitely, I think most of us are most productive at the beginning of the day, so try and kind of whack it all out in the beginning if you can. Stick to routines. I really stick to routines. The kids like routine anyway. I love routine. So I do things kind of at very, very similar times every day, and that means that I get them done. So whether it be like a wash load or, you know, whatever it might be. But yeah, but don't give yourself too much grief. I think it's normal to not be, especially with kids, to not have things totally, like, I was always thinking, like, if I didn't have kids and I cleaned the house, pretty much the house would stay like that. Like, I'd clean a room, I'd walk out the room. When I walk back in the room, it would still look like that. With kids, you clean a room, you walk out. When you walk back in, it's like you never cleaned it. So, you know, you're also fighting a losing battle sometimes. So you have to kind of pick those battles. Sorry, my battery went. And then I went to charge it, and then Grayson needed to go down for a nap, so I had to feed him and get him down. So as you can see, I can't do it all. You have to pick your battles and pick the things that you can do and the things that are important, like getting your baby to have his afternoon nap. So, next question is, what makeup is it you use on your eyes? Believe it or not, this is possibly the most asked question I get on my Instagram. And I kind of understand it, because I actually found this eyeshadow by watching Susie Jeverill, I think that's what her name is. She is Greg Rutherford's other half, and she has an amazing account, so go follow her on Instagram. But yes, quite a while ago, like I want to say like a couple of years, she told everyone what she was wearing on her eyes, and from then I have never stopped using it. And like I say, literally in the supermarket, everywhere, people say, like, really say lovely compliments about the eyeshadow. So I will show you what it is. It is this one, you can see. So it is by the makeup range Pixi, P-I-X-I. You can get it online, you can get it in Marks and Spencer's, actually, they do it. But it's Pixi, and it's called Liquid Fairy Lights. They're called Liquid Fairy Lights. This particular shade that I use is Passion Light, which has kind of got a coppery background to the glitter, but you can also get like goldy ones and silver ones, and it's just a wand like that, and I just dab a tiny bit on my eyelid and just like smudge it in with my finger each morning, and it makes me feel alive. All those months of sleep deprivation, I was able to feel semi-human with that. So yes, that is what I wear on my eyes. I wear very minimal makeup. Literally, you know how you've got it down to a T now, the 5 minutes of makeup that you can put on in the morning, and that's all I do. So next question is, what exercise machine do you use? So again, if you've been following me on Instagram, I have been using this exercise machine that we've got upstairs on our top floor. It is by Bowflex, and it's something like Max Trainer, that's what it's called, Bowflex Max Trainer, and it's basically like, kind of like step with your feet, but you're more going round like that, and then you're also pulling with your arms, and it's meant to be like an all-body toner. My hubby got it like a couple of years ago, and I do like sort of like high-intensity workouts on it, so you kind of have to go as hard as you can for 25 seconds, and then you go a bit slower for 60 seconds, and then again, kind of like that. And it's a really good all-round workout that you can just smash out, you know, after I just put on a YouTube video and I just go for it, and it's kind of a nice cardio blast. And like I said, it's not just cardio, they do say that it is toning all the muscles in your body. And I was doing that solidly for quite a while every day, bar a couple of days in the week. But recently I have started to also pick back up, like watching my videos online, not my videos, watching like exercise videos on YouTube and following them. Again, like HIIT, some weights, some body weight resistance kind of training. But again, I will leave a link below. Well, the video that I did was about how to get motivated to work out, because a lot of you do often ask how I find the motivation to do my workouts. They're not long workouts, they're very short, but still it is hard to find that motivation when you've got kids and you've got busy life. So I will leave another link below, because I have done a specific video kind of trying to give you some tips on getting motivated to work out. But yes, that is the machine that I use at home, and I also do at home workouts. Right. I don't want to drag this on, so I'm just going to find one more question and then call it a day, and we can do another one hopefully in a little while. Someone says, are you married, and if so, when did you get married? How was your wedding? So yes, I am married. I have a husband. He features sometimes, occasionally, mainly features by me talking about him, but he and I have been married for 6 years. We got married when Zach was almost 1, and it was a winter wedding, which is really funny because like when I was little, I always imagined the kind of summer wedding, you know, the kind of fairly typical, you know, where the sun's shining and you can be all beautiful outside in the sun. So it's funny that I ended up having a winter wedding, but actually I loved it, and I chose for it to be then, and I chose to have it very, very close to Christmas because I wanted to kind of go for a very Christmassy theme, and it turned out just so amazing. I kind of always thought, how could you have a winter wedding and wear a beautiful like off the shoulder wedding dress, but obviously you can, and I had this gorgeous little like furry, what's it called? Little shawl, not a shawl, it's called something, bolero maybe. I had one of those when we were outside, but to be honest with you, you are so anxious and stressed on your wedding day. You have this like internal body heat that keeps you warm. And it even rained on my wedding day, and again, I didn't care. It probably even better because I was anticipating it because it was winter, whereas maybe in the summer you kind of think it won't rain. But yeah, even the rain, I've got this like really nice picture. It's one of my favorite pictures. I'm walking to the church just down the pathway, and I'm holding up my skirt like in one hand, and I've got the best men are holding this great big white umbrella over me, and I'm crouching down, and we're kind of hurrying to the church, and it's like one of my favorite pictures. So yes, we got married just before Christmas time, and it was like a white and red Christmassy theme. So yes, we have been married 6 years because Zach is turning 7, and we've got some really nice pictures of Zach at the wedding, and he loves looking back at those. But then we obviously get Wardo, why wasn't I there? And so it ensues. But yes, so I think that is all the questions that I have time to answer. I hope that you got to know me a little bit better, and that they were interesting to watch. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. Drop any other questions you've got in the comments below, and I'll try and answer them. And also make sure that you have subscribed so that you can see more videos from me. Have a lovely day and see you soon. Bye.